You want it, you got it. JuJu Watkins took the floor tonight, took a little trip up to UConn, and took down the UConn Huskies. JuJu Watkins, USC women's basketball, the USC Trojans. Let's get into it. JuJu Watkins is the best player in the world. There's no doubt about it. JuJu Watkins went up to UConn tonight and played some outstanding basketball. UConn battled back. It was number 7 versus number 4. And she torched them out in the first quarter, 24-15, and picked up the pace in the second. And USC, I'll tell you, JuJu tonight lost some momentum coming back in the third quarter, but you look at JuJu Watkins tonight, 38 points, 9 of 16, 3 or 4 from the three, 4 or 5 from the 3-point line. Contributes 6 blocks, get you 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And the big one is the blocks, right? JuJu's getting in there on the defensive end, 25 points. And the story, really, if you look at it from a standpoint of JuJu Watkins and what was it all about, when you got Caitlin Clark, I'll tell you, it comes down to 2 different levels and 2 different mindsets. And what everybody wanted to watch, including Caitlin Clark tonight, was to see where JuJu would rank out and how that game would be played. However, Gino, everybody thought, okay, here we go. And because we know that Paige Bueckers could give Caitlin Clark a good game, but as I really have been sharing with everybody that JuJu Watkins is the best player in the world, hands down, not even close. And I mentioned if JuJu Watkins would have came out even last year, I mean, Caitlin Clark was number 1. However, being an 18-year-old and dominating the game last year, and this was just a preview of what's headed next to Iowa. They're going to go down to Iowa next, and this thing's going to continue on down the road. As you know, JuJu Watkins stepped in there, and what did JuJu Watkins really had proclaimed even a couple days ago? I'm ready for the WNBA. The age rule needs to drop. I'm ready to go pro. And you look at that, and you have to put it in perspective because Gottlieb, they're shooting the ball well. They're not even in premier form, but they're getting there. Now, when you flip the script, you go on the other side. You got to look at Bueckers went 9 of 22, 2 of 8 from 3-point line, 2 or 4 and 2 offensive rebounds, and got in there, battled out a couple assists, got a steal, and finished with 22 points, right? And you got Sarah Strong battle out. And UConn, I'll tell you, it's a system game. And USC tonight decided we'll trade UConn 3 for 2. No doubt, 3 points for 2 points. But Bueckers, they battled back. I mean, Bueckers showed you really want to look at comparison because, you really put Paige Bueckers against Caitlin Clark, and it looks like you got a really good battle, goes back and forth. But the first thing that I noticed tonight, and I wanted to gauge it to see where Paige Bueckers would stack up against JuJu Watkins, and that you can't stack that up. I mean, it was obvious she blocked Paige's shot, so I mean, and it just took them. I mean, you got in there and you did something. You went down to UConn to get the win, and that's a big time thing to do. And you got it at Gino's house, and that was on national TV, and you had all eyes on that game. So you got Paige Bueckers, great player, but you got Paige going against the best in the world, and America had an opportunity to see this, and it's dominance. It's just you're giving up too much size, too much weight. You can go around the board and try to create some different stories, but I'll give it to you. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast, and I'll tell you this just right down the line. I mean, you got JuJu Watkins. I'll tell you right away, JuJu Watkins, ready for the WNBA, is better. Going to come in more power than Angel Wilson, right? You're going to get Angel Reese, JuJu Watkins coming in hot and heavier than Angel Reese. This is a big time player. And here's what interesting how Lisa Bluter with her comments and how she kind of went through it and said, well, Caitlin's done this, rising tides lift all boats. Folks, I'll tell you this right now. When you talk about a rising tide doesn't lift a yacht. JuJu Watkins is not a boat. That's a yacht. That is one of the most polished players, women basketball players, that you will ever see in a lifetime. And that goes back, you're on that level and you're getting there with Maya Moore, Candace Parker. I mean, you're just too good to go against normal competition, and the players are too small. And that's what I was trying to really understand as people were saying, well, Juju's not this. I say, you're giving up 25, 30 pounds, right? And you're working with Phil Handy. JuJu Watkins, two different levels. You're talking about players of two different levels, two different mindsets. You're working with Phil Handy. Phil Handy, who's been working with all these years, LeBron James, right? They work on this game inside and out. And everything that JuJu Watkins does, as you listen to Gottlieb, that you're going to find out that JuJu Watkins plays this game from a different drum beat, and it's tough to see. I talked to you a little bit about Becky Hammond. I mean, Becky Hammond knows JuJu Watkins is just the the women's basketball game, and you got the Liberty who are champions, you got the Aces who are champions. They haven't seen something like JuJu Watkins, and that's going to be a load to deal with. You got Caitlin Clark's got a retirement party coming. Juju's got that one on the calendar, and I'm telling you, it could be a 50-point game. I mean, she didn't really get in form, but the first half, I mean, she just torched them. I mean, it was like it wasn't even a game. And when you look at what her capabilities are, and you're looking at her coming out and saying, you know what, I'm ready for the WNBA, there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously coming out last year, I can honestly be open. I understand the passion that Indiana has. And you know what? Indiana might have just overlooked JuJu Watkins last year, 18-year-old as a number one pick, eligible to come out for the draft after a one and done. But they might have taken Caitlin Steele. It's just a love. Caitlin is an outstanding ball player. And for the life of me, when you get a player, this is the unusualness about it, but it's competition because here's what happens with Caitlin and Juju. You got two different players. Both are electrifying. Both are going to electrify the crowd. Caitlin does so many outstanding things on the court. And it makes it where it's a competitive game, two different cities against two different states, right? But you got that competition and that burning desire. That's going to be the burning desire that Caitlin's going to have. But here's what it's going to be hard to understand. If JuJu Watkins walked into the WNBA next year, then everything that Caitlin's done, that some of those records are going to fall. They're going to fall. But it's not really a competition. It's going to be a competition to see who can win the championship. And here's where I really separate it. I understand the Indiana Fever want to do a 2 or 3 year plan. I think with JuJu Watkins, because the way it works in California and how she's been raised in LA and being in a championship city. When JuJu Watkins hits the WNBA, folks, I'll tell you right now, that one there is not going to be like you have the other years in the other sports, how you're waiting to build a program. When JuJu Watkins comes into the WNBA, the goal and plan will be to win a WNBA championship immediately. It won't be about the team getting together, learning how to play together. JuJu Watkins knows how to do all that and bring the team together, and is an excellent passer, excellent shooter, understands how to read defense, understands how to take advantage of her size, and plays chest to chest. Chest to chest, folks, is when you got a player that never has to turn their back. She's going right in front of you, and I'm going through you. And I know what entitlement zones and areas I have, and I'm going to use my muscle. And the next 2 years, what you're going to find out is JuJu Watkins is going to be putting on muscle. Okay, right now you're young, but by the time you go to 19, 20, 21, 22, she's going to put on a lot of muscle. And that's a heavy load. And you could have everything that Caitlin did this year could be wiped out, okay, coming in with JuJu, because JuJu can score 50 points in a game. And that's what you saw tonight, folks. You saw USC, UConn. Who goes into UConn's house in the first quarter at their home? Okay, they're fourth ranked in the country. USC is seventh ranked in the country. They take them down. They take them down. They get out on the floor. They torch them 3 to make 2. We'll play our 3 pointers against your 2 point. And UConn is well coached, and UConn is also well coached defensively. And that's what really got to show when you got Gottlieb and you look at what type of player that JuJu Watkins is, and why does Money Mike say JuJu Watkins is the best in the world. is because when you cover all 94 feet of the court and you make your team better, JuJu Watkins makes the team better. And everybody's going to move around because now you got to shuffle the deck because you've seen it with your own eyes, okay? Not only that, America's seen it, but I'm bringing this back because I love the game, and the game of the WNBA is rising. This was a Caitlin Clark preview, okay? This next preview is going to be up there in Iowa, as Lisa Bluter was saying, wait a minute, Caitlin's changed the game. And that's short-lived because by the time JuJu Watkins hits this thing, JuJu Watkins going to change the game, folks. And it's going to be different than anything you ever seen. It's going to revolutionize the guard play. Now, here's the thing, 6'2", 6'3". Here's where I'm going with it. When you revolutionize guard play, you got to have big guards now to be able to play in the WNBA because the little guards will get ate up and they'll get on isolation. And when they ISO you and they take you and you switch and they go down to the block, that's going to be easy because JuJu has excellent mid-range. Caitlin's a fireball. So she's trying to get the ball out of bounds and come back, and that's going to be the battle of the WNBA guards. Now, you want to bring Hannah and say Hannah can get in this fire? I don't know if Hannah's ready to jump in this fire because now the one thing you got Notre Dame and Hannah doesn't have to play defense. Now, when you get to the dance, right, you got to play defense. Now, I'm not talking about college because college is a system. And you got to respect it. UConn system was a little bit better in the second half than SC's system defensively, and they battled back. But when it came game time to get it on the line, and you're playing pro basketball, the thing that changes there is one player can take over a game. And tonight I found that Paige Bueckers is an excellent basketball player, very efficient player. I mean, really can play, but got a little starstruck tonight because she hadn't been on the floor with JuJu Watkins and didn't know if JuJu had improved. She found out tonight, Paige Bueckers, that JuJu Watkins has improved tremendously, and that is really from being a freshman coming through it. And Money Mike, I'll just tell you the way it is. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. If JuJu Watkins would have came out last year, I mean, really should have been a number one pick, right? But I can respect because you do have a local favorite. Indiana won the lottery. And I think it's really important what Caitlin has done now for the promotions of the league and being her and Asia being mentioned in a Nike earnings call. I mean, I think they did outstanding work, and I'd say bet on Nike. I'd say right now, bet on Nike. Why? JuJu Watkins is with Nike, and you're going to get all these players going to revolutionize the game, right? But you got to look at Sarah Strong, put in 22 points, and then really UConn didn't have an answer. I mean, nobody else could get in there. And here's the deal that you got to look at, and when you get to Efren, and everybody says it, Kiki's just as that silent assassin, 38 minutes, going to get out there to 8 of 19, doesn't need to take a three, going to get you 11 total rebounds, 6 assists. Folks, you're talking about double-double territory and could get the assists, 2 steals. Need to get on the blocks, on the glass a little bit more, a little bit physical, but you're talking about Kiki can actually come out to the wing and get you 17 to 20 feet range shooting. And that's big, big, big time as you go through. Now, you look at what at USC did. I mean, come on, they're shooting 49% from the field. Okay, you got 56% from the three-point line, 83% from the line, right? But, I mean, they get on the glass, they get you 33 rebounds and 17 assists, right? And so you get down to UConn, and they got 32 rebounds, but UConn moved the ball well, got you 18 assists. And here's where they killed themselves. They didn't really get it going early, 43% from the field, and in the three-point line, they just got killed. I mean, that C shooting almost 50%. You're shooting 26%. And then the game, the presence of JuJu being on the floor, I mean, it shattered him at the free throw line. You're shooting 58% from the free throw line. I mean, that's not a recipe for winning for UConn, but it is what it is. I can tell you this. The game is really the game. And this one tonight, I'll just let you know, this was a preview. I mean, you got Iowa going to do what they got to do. You got Caitlin's retirement parties coming. But my, oh my, JuJu took them down 72-70. No doubt about it. USC is rocking and rolling. They're ready to roll. They got UCLA as their big target. And that's a big bets, right? You got a big bat, you got to play against big long bats, right? No doubt about it. But Caitlin's gonna be Caitlin. I can't wait to see the battle in the WNBA. She don't know what time it is. He ran everything he could, but they ate him up. USC Gottlieb was ready. Paige is a solid player, superstar. But sometimes you go against the best in the world, and she's coming. Aja, you got somebody gonna come play with you. Angel Reese too. And Lisa Bluter, everything you said, rising tide lifts all boats. But you got to realize something. JuJu Watkins is a yacht. She's not a boat. And that's the best player in the world. Trained by Phil Handy. Also trains LeBron James and everybody the Lakers had all the way back to Kobe Bryant. It doesn't matter. Handy knows the game. And Becky Hammond, she knows what JuJu can do. It is what it is. Championships. JuJu's not going to wait. She's coming to get the WNBA championship right away. So, LA Sparks, I hope they work it out. She gets in and let her go play for the Sparks. She'll represent LA, but she's not done. Took down UConn, got a retirement party on her schedule. My, oh my, JuJu Watkins. Best player in the world. Nobody does it better. I think if it doesn't happen with the Sparks, then Adam Silver, let's get her. The Clippers get their WNBA. Let's make the acquisition $500 million per owner, and let's go ahead and get JuJu aligned with Bomber, and let's open up the floodgates because that's what we want to do. So it's going to be a battle, okay? Amy and Caitlin and Kelly, but JuJu's coming, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. The game is the game. It's meant to be played, and here's what I'll tell you. USC took them down. JuJu lit it on fire on national TV. All things are possible to those who believe, and now USC is rocking and rolling. They're going to move up in the rankings, and it'll be interesting who wins in the women's game. We'll see you soon. Money Mike Syndicated Radio Pod.